next is Cool Hand Luke. He's a comic from Maui, former Marine. So give it for Luke. Come on, Luke, come on out here. All right, here he is. Good evening, Marines. Everybody else, hello. So I'm celebrating my 35th birthday today. But more importantly, I'm celebrating 2,124 days since I got out of the Corps. Every day is a celebration when you don't get drug tested. I served 10 years and 4 months honorably. And for 10 years and 4 months, I didn't do any drugs. But now I do any drugs. I joined the Marine Corps from Maui, so of course I got stationed in North Carolina. And one of my first roommates was a black guy from the South, and I would speak small kind pidgin with him, and he would speak in like Southern slang to me. He taught me that shrimp was pronounced scrimp. Strawberries was pronounced strawberries. He even liked to put a R in the word negotiate right after the G, but he said I couldn't say that word. So, you know, I'm sure you guys are all familiar with survivor's guilt, and it's a real thing for people who have lost friends or had friends who were seriously injured. Sometimes I suffer from survivor's guilt as well. You know, like when I'm driving through a crowded parking lot and the only place available is a handicap stall, I'll think, man, I wish I lost a leg in the stand. Or like when my wife hacks into my phone and starts asking me questions about what she finds. It's like, oh, I wish I died in Iraq. You know, here in Hawaii, we have the plastic bag ban. It was just introduced on Oahu, but it's been on Maui and the Big Island for some years. You know, I like the ban personally. I like to use reusable grocery bags. I like my reusable grocery bags to say a little something about myself. You know, I like my bag from the health food store that tells people I care about my body as well as the environment. You know, I like my bag from like Thailand or the Philippines that tells people, you know, I'm a little bit cultured, well-traveled, right? But I don't like my bag from Walmart because I don't want people to know that I'm white trash. I've always been ambiguous with my ethnicity, but whenever somebody asks me if I'm Italian, I think it's because I'm wearing too much hair gel or cologne. When bargaining, I like to tell people that I'm part Jewish, the part that appreciates a good deal. I recently found out that Adolf Hitler's medical record became public, and it turns out he had a micro penis. All this time, I thought he was the world's biggest asshole. Turns out it was a regular-sized asshole next to an incredibly small penis. Its effects were devastating. Can you imagine the phone call he got from Mussolini in Africa? Like, yeah, Adolf, I know you hate the Hebrew hammer, but have you heard of the Black Mamba? I was in a Subway recently, and there was a Mexican couple in front of me, and I thought, is this what I look like at Taco Bell? Now, Taco Bell is my favorite Mexican food outside of Mexico, but I feel like such a sucker spending $10 for it here, because I know in Mexico, the diarrhea only costs $2. Whenever I hear the phrase, you are what you eat, I think, why are gay men so nice? There's a popular analogy that compares pizza and sex. It goes something like, pizza and sex are a lot alike because even when they're bad, they're still pretty good. I don't know about you guys, but I never opened a box of pizza and thought, what the fuck is that smell? And then said, I'm gonna stick my dick in it anyway. You know, I feel like in today's day and age, the term homophobia is overused. You know, a phobia is an extreme or irrational fear. Like if you're arachnophobic, you'll completely freak out if you see a spider. Or like if you're hemophobic, you'll lose your mind at the sight of blood. But to be homophobic, all you have to do is say something that offends a woman with a gay best friend. So I've been married for like 5 to 10 years now. And I recently had a baby. Well, not me, but I'm a guy, so I like to take credit for things that I didn't really do. But it's actually my second child with my wife. And you know, a lot of people say children are like STDs. And I agree with this, which is why it's important to stay with the person you got them from. Nobody else wants to deal with that shit. So for our second child, we decided to wait until the child was born to find out the gender, and I let my wife choose the boy's name because I'm kind of into the trend of naming your child after something you want him to do or be when he grows up, you know, like surfer or ripper. But I'm a little bit safety conscious, so I probably would have went with helmet or condom. I got to choose the name if it was going to be a girl. I chose my grandmother's name in hopes that my daughter could also live a lifetime underneath a glass ceiling and then die of breast cancer. It was my grandmother's dying wish that you guys would laugh at that joke. But don't feel bad for her. She spent her final days in the family home surrounded by loved ones doing what she loved, asking her sons to not smoke in the house. You know, a lot of people asked me like if I wanted to have a boy or a girl before the child was born. And honestly, like after I don't know how many years with the same woman, I just hope the baby came out black. That way I know it's not mine. No, our first son, we found out his sex before he was born, and my wife chose the name for him. She chose a Hispanic name to reflect that part of her culture. But he came out with white skin. So I like to think that in the future, some human resources professional will see his name on a piece of paper, and they'll think, wow, this guy can really bring some diversity to our company. So he'll get the interview because he's Hispanic. But they'll meet him and they'll see he's white, and they'll give him the job. One of my biggest fears as a father is having like a gay son or a whore daughter. She can be gay. She can be gay. Honestly, I don't even mind if my wife came out as gay. Figure with 2 women at the house, they might actually get something done. No, I don't care. I don't care about my children's sexuality. It's up to them, of course. But I just hope for my children the same thing I hope for myself. You know, I hope they never smoke crack. But that's not enough anymore, so I also hope they don't smoke meth. I use social media like a lot of people. Like a lot of people, my social media use reflects my real life. You know, pictures of good friends and good food, I like that shit. Videos of animals being cute, I like that shit too. Pictures of women on the beach in their new bikinis, well, I'm married, so I can't like it, but I appreciate it. Social media has also brought to my attention some new nicknames we use for our significant others. Names like Maine or Bay, they're both incredibly annoying, but they're also very honest. Guys, if your girl calls you her main, she's politely letting you know she's got somebody on the side. And if she calls you Bay, well, Bay is an acronym. It stands for before anyone else. That means if she's late on her rent, her car payment, or her period, she's calling you before anyone else. You know, I noticed some new tattoo ideas through social media. There's like the side boob tattoo or the under boob tat. The under boob tattoo is especially practical because when you're young and perky and proud of that ink, it's on display for everybody to see. But as you grow older and more ashamed of it, the body begins to cover it up. I like what's called trade tats. You know, like the chef with the knife or the barber with the scissors. I saw this bum at the park the other day. He had a tattoo of a crack pipe and a 40 ounce. You know, growing up, I listened to a lot of hip-hop music, and one of the first songs that, one of the first rap diss tracks I ever heard was Dr. Dre's Fuck With Dre Day. And it was a rap diss on Eazy-E. And I had to choose sides, so I chose Dr. Dre, because he was rolling with Snoop. But looking back, I'm pretty sure Dr. Dre won that rap battle. I mean, Dr. Dre is rap's first billionaire. And Eazy-E, well, Eazy-E died of AIDS. At best, I can hope he got that from a chick. No homophobia. I'm sure some of you guys know this, but when buying crack, $1 of crack actually costs $100. $2 of crack actually costs $200. But when a crackhead offers you a $3 blowjob, still just $3. If you're wondering how many $3 blowjobs it takes to get $2 worth of crack, 66.6. Now, I'm not a particularly religious person, but anybody who gives another person 0.6 blowjobs should go to hell. I'm actually atheist, not 100% atheist. I'm as much atheist as I am straight, like 99.9%. And what that means is if somebody were to stick a gun to my head and a dick in my face, I'm like, dear God, please don't tell anybody. I know I got a strange outlook on life. It's been this way my whole life. I appreciate you guys listening. When I was in intermediate school, when I was in 7th grade, I had a friend. He took the virginity of both of his stepsisters. And I remember thinking, man, I hope my parents get a divorce. Thank you guys. I'm Cool Hand Luke. Have a good night.